Hari Om. In this video, we are going to talk about what is versioning in .NET environment. So, versioning, in our previous video when we discussed assemblies, we were talking about each assembly will contain a version number. So, versioning is generally done in assemblies, and the versioning helps in identification by the common language runtime, because you can have more than one assemblies with the same name, but the CLR will be identifying these assemblies using the version number. So an assembly version assumes the format of 4-part numerical string. When I say 4-part numerical string, the 4 different parts of the assembly version number will be a major version number followed by minor version number, which is followed by the build version number, then you will have the revision number. So this will be the format for a version in the assembly. So here it says the 3 is the revision number, 6 is the build number, and 5 is the minor version, and 2 is the version number. So whenever we are going to build an application, if the application is a newly introduced application, you will be giving a major version number. And in the application, when you start adding some kind of features, then it becomes minor version number also. So 1 becomes 1.1, 1.2, something like that. Then in the 1.1 itself, if you have different builds, different deployed versions, then you may be calling it as a build number. And in the build itself, if you are going to revise some kind of performance criteria, or if you want to revise some kind of security permissions, etc., then you can call it as a revision number. So this is how the numbers will be given for any assembly. And if there is no number assigned to an assembly, then by default the CLR will assume the version number as 0.0.0.0. So that is how the version number will be given to an assembly. So CLR will be using this version number for identifying the assemblies, and the assembly will be generally having 2 distinct ways of expressing the version information. One by using the assembly version number, the other one by informational version. So your assembly version number will be available together with the assembly name and culture specific information, and it is generally part of the assembly's identity. And this number is used by the runtime to enforce the version policy, and it also plays a key role in the type resolution process at runtime. Right? So that is how the assembly version number will be given, or you can give it in the informational version format, which is a string that represents additional version information included for informational purposes. So generally we will be following the assembly version number, and informational version will be given if you are going to use only a string for representing the additional version information. Now each assembly will be having a version number for the identification, and we also know that 2 assemblies that differ by version number will be considered as different assemblies, because for one assembly itself you can have same name, but it is going to differ by the version number. Now when you take these versioning, the runtime environment performs the following steps to resolve the assembly binding request. So whenever an assembly is loaded into the common language runtime, the binding request will follow these steps. So what it will do, it will first check the original assembly reference to find the version of the assembly. What is the version of the assembly will be identified first. Then it will check for all applicable configuration files to apply the version policy. So what are the different configuration files available, and how the version policy is to be applied will be checked by the common language runtime. Then it will be determining the correct assembly from the original assembly reference and any redirection specified in the configuration file. So these are the things just for the verification. It is going to verify the assembly reference and it is going to verify all the configuration files, and it will check whether it is following the version policy available in the CLR. So once it has verified, it is going to determine what is the correct assembly from the given reference and whether any redirection is, say, if it is going to have some kind of security permissions or if it is going to have some kind of built environment. All these things will be specified in the configuration file. So it will check whether it is having the correct assembly for the execution. And once it has been identified, it will determine what is the version that should be bound to the calling assembly. So because you may be having the same name with different version number, so it will be determining which version number is to be used for the binding process. So once it has been determined, it will be checking the global assembly cache and code base. The global assembly cache is the one that will be having all the configuration specification in the form of code base. Then what it will do, it will be checking the application directory and the subdirectories. These are the different steps followed by the CLR. What are the things? It will be checking the assembly reference, it will be checking all the configuration files, and it will then determine what is the correct assembly for binding process. Then it will be determining what is the version specified in that particular assembly. Then it will be checking the global assembly cache for all the specifications. Then it will be checking the application directory and the subdirectory. So these are the different steps followed to resolve the binding request. It is exactly used for finding what is the assembly that is to be converted into the executable format by the jitter. So that has to be properly loaded and that has to be properly bound. Only then the jitter can translate the assembly into the native code. So for which all the verification process and identification process will be done by the common language runtime. So for which it is going to first verify the assembly reference, then it will be verifying all the assembly information and the configuration file based on the policies defined in the common language runtime. So once the verification step is completed, it will be determining what is the assembly and it will be determining what is the version number. Then it will be checking everything in the global assembly cache, and then it will be checking in the application directory and subdirectory. So these are the different components that will be retrieved and verified during the common language runtime execution model. So the first two steps of checking will be done here in the assembly reference. Then the policy verification will be done here. Then it will be identifying the correct assembly and the correct version number. Then it will go to the global assembly cache folder to check for all the kind of required resources for the execution, and also it will be referring the application directory and subdirectory for the execution components. So this is the reference that will be done before binding the assembly and translating it into the native code. So your version number will be generally stored in the assembly manifest. We have seen it in the previous video. What is the content of assembly manifest? We have seen the assembly name, version number, culture specific information, all those things will be stored in the assembly manifest. So along with the identity information, the version number will also be available. What kind of identity information you will have? The assembly name, whether you have a public key, whether you have the digital signature, whether you have culture specific information, all these things will be available in the assembly manifest. And the runtime will be distinguishing between the regular and strong named assembly for the purpose of versioning. We have seen what do you mean by a strong named assembly. And if it is containing the information about the name, version, culture specific information, a private key, public key, the digital signature, if all these things are available in an assembly, then the assembly becomes a strong named assembly. So if these culture specific information or the private key, digital signature is not available, then it becomes a regular assembly. So version checking will be done with the strong named assemblies generally, because your regular assembly will be available in the local environment, where sometimes your regular assembly will be having a default version number as 0.0.0. Right. So these are the things that you have to know about the version. So the very important point that you have to understand in versioning is any assembly will have a version number in the 4-part numerical string format, and if the assembly is not specified with the version, the CLR will consider it as 0.0.0. So when it is loading the assembly, if the assembly does not have a version number in its manifest, it will be converting it into 0.0.0. Right? And we should also understand what are the different components that will be referred by the common language runtime while binding the assembly request for the execution. So this is the format used, or these are the different steps used by the common language runtime during the bind request. And we have also seen the version checking will be done with the strong named assembly, and these are the points that you have to remember in the versioning. Thank you.